It's Frank T.L. Frog. The T.L. stands for the lucky. That's right. And I'm sure glad to be here, me and my buddy Dave Gibson, for the Y'all Show. Y'all are awesome. That's right, John. Yee.
All right, everybody, we are the Y'all Show. We're making history with Mr. T.L. Frog here and the person with T.L. Frog. This is Dave Gibson, everybody. Dave Gibson is a star. Dave Gibson had a whole bunch of songs that he was a writer of in country music, and then he was part of the Gibson Miller Band, which in the 1990s had a bunch of memorable songs from Texas Tattoo and more. And we're going to talk about the music thing, but we're going to talk about what he's doing now. What a transition.
Yeah, it's all about me. Right here.
So we're going to learn a lot more about how in the world, as we're broadcasting from Music Row, the Y'all Show with Jon Rawl, how Dave Gibson, again, a talented Southerner, is now doing this, and what he's got going on with the Waterhole Bunch. That's actually debuting in just a few days on Roku, and we'll find out how. Again, we're going to learn about that and so much more. But thank you. I first need to thank you for coming on, and maybe you'll play for us in a few minutes.
Thank you, John. You know, Dave bought me this guitar a little while ago, and he told me that I played like Chet. I thought he meant like Chet Atkins, but I don't think that's exactly what he meant.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What did he mean?
I think it was kind of an insult, like something else, like sounded like Chet.
Okay. The Waterhole Bunch. All right, let's start. If you don't mind, can we talk about Dave a little bit?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I guess if you have to.
Yeah, I think we have to, because again, you are a guy that if you were watching country music videos back in the 1990s, Gibson Miller Band stormed on the scene in the early 90s on Epic Records and had some darn good songs. Big Heart was one of them.
Yeah, our first single. Yeah.
First single, and then you had other songs. You had 2 albums out on Epic, you and Blue Miller. We lost Blue Miller 2 years ago.
Yes, yeah, I miss him every day.
Yeah, so, but you're still here in Nashville, and before that, let's rewind before the Gibson Miller days. You were a songwriter, a very successful songwriter. And Tanya Tucker.
First number one was If It Don't Come Easy.
If It Don't Come Easy, a darn good Tanya Tucker song there. And I was looking at when you arrived in Nashville. It was in the early 80s, correct?
82. Excuse me, the summer of 82. It was June, actually. And then I was very fortunate to, when I got here, I didn't have any money. I was pretty broke, but slept in my van on Music Row for 2 months.
Did you?
Yeah, and then a friend of mine who I'd written a jingle for up in Chicago, he said, "You better get off that street, boys. somebody's gonna get you." So he gave me a little money, and so I got me an apartment. And, I was playing around at the Ramada Inns and different places, and then one day I walked into a guy named Tony Brown's office at RCA, and Tony changed my life, because
You literally walked in and Tony Brown talked to you?
yeah. I knew that he had liked a song of mine that a promotion guy from RCA had played him a couple of years before that, and he said, "I remember that song, and I like that song right there you just played." So he took me in the studio like the next week. He said, "People wait too long, And I said, "Well, okay." I couldn't believe it. And we went in the studio, and I never will forget. I mean, it was like I was down here, and then all of a sudden I'm up here with a lot of stars, Tony took me to Emmylou Harris's birthday party, and I just thought I'd died and gone to heaven. And he played the song that he cut on, one of the songs he cut on me at her party, and she loved it. That was wild.
Most people don't get that kind of introduction. Now, unlike a lot of people, you did not come to Nashville right out of high school.
No. I actually originally from Arkansas and West Texas, and then after I graduated college, which is was pretty cool. I can't even believe I made it through, but I did.
Where'd you go?
University of Arkansas. Yeah, so I went to high school and college in Arkansas.
Frank, do you mind a little woo pig for us?
Woo! Pig! Soy! All right, Razorbacks. Yeah, you gotta watch out for them hogs
That's right. Thanks for
and
calling.
frogs.
Thanks for calling the frogs there, Frank T.L. Frog.
Yeah.
So you went to the University of Arkansas there in Fayetteville, and then from there,
I went to Chicago.
why?
I wanted to be a commercial artist. That's what I thought I wanted to be. But I always played music, and I kind of grew up in the folk era, you know. And but there was all this great music when I grew up out in West Texas. Um, um, Roy Orbison was on TV, and before he ever was a star, you know, and had a little show. And Marty Robbins was a hero of mine, but my biggest hero was Elvis, and I always wanted to do that. And I learned how to play guitar in high school. I had a folk trio, and then when I moved to went to college, I was in a couple of bands, and I always played the guitar. And then when I moved to Chicago, I started working as a commercial artist, but I was like dying on the vine, man. I wasn't making any money at all, and so I decided I was always kind of playing at night at the clubs up there. Folk music was real big in the 70s. I'm probably dating myself, but I've been doing that for a while. So anyway,
Don't date yourself. There's
Yeah.
plenty of other fish out there for you to go date.
Yeah, a lot more fishing than seeing frogs too.
anyway, I started teaching school because I was making money, and I had a degree, and that was during the Vietnam era, and they needed male teachers. So I was very, very fortunate to be able to stay out of Vietnam, and then I had a band up there for ended up having a band for like almost 10 years, and then moved to Nashville in '82.
Moved to Nashville in '82 and did the songwriter thing again. I told people just a moment ago that you had cuts with Tanya Tucker, If It Don't Come Easy, one of the great songs of the '80s of her. How about Steve Wariner? You had two of his singles. Heart Trouble was one of them.
Yeah, and Midnight Fire was my first hit. Tony had introduced me to all these writers. He was trying to get me a record deal, but he said, I need a song for Steve Wariner because I'm producing him. And I just was very fortunate to write with a guy that he introduced me to, Louis Anderson. And we wrote a song, idea I had called Midnight Fire. I was so excited, I ran it down to Tony's office, played it for him, just a little thing on a cassette. And he said, I really like it. I'm going to play that for Steve. So he ended up cutting it. It was the first single and the title of the album. And that was like unbelievable, you know, that happened within the first year I was here. You know, one of the luckiest people in show business, they say.
Midnight Fire. If you want a song that will get your blood going.
Oh, that is a great record. That is so great. I just... You know, it still stands up today. You know, it rocks.
And then you also had two singles from Confederate Railroad.
Yeah.
And two amazing songs. Talk about a dichotomy. Queen of Memphis and Daddy Never Was the Cadillac Kind.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
that is a difference right there.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Queen of Memphis was just this thing I had started, and Kathy Lubin came over of Lubin Brothers fame. You know, she's a granddaughter of one of the Lubin, or daughter, I guess, one of the Lubin guys. Can't remember, Ira, maybe. And she came over, and we wrote the song, and Barry Beckett heard it. He was producing them at the time, and he said, I love that chorus. That's a hit chorus. He said, but what is that second verse about? And so we ended up rewriting the second verse, and that was a fun song. And then Daddy Never Was the Cadillac Kind was Bernie Nelson and Bernie had the idea, and I said, man, I can't write it about my dad, but I can sure write it about my grandpa, because my dad loved Cadillacs and any big car. Our Buick, we had a '56 Buick.
A great song again. Please go give those a spin and support Dave Gibson if you get a chance. To amazing songs. And because of your songwriting prowess and the fact that you had been singing also, you got that deal with Blue Miller on Epic Records, and that was in the early 1990s.
Yeah.
Doug Johnson producing.
Doug Johnson changed my life too. And 10 years later, after being here around, about 90, I guess, almost 10 years, I'd sort of given up on being an artist, and I was taken some songs out to him. I had never met him, but I knew that he had produced Doug Stone and Better Off in a Pine Box. And I love that song, and I thought
I don't know why you didn't write that one.
yeah, I should have. But Doug heard some songs, and he says, "Man, I really like these. Let me listen to these." On the way back to Atlanta, he was still living in Atlanta and had an office here, and he calls me up about, I don't know, early evening that day, and he says, "Man, I love this song. This is a song I had written called Just Enough to Get to Memphis," and he said, "I got a guy I want you to meet." And I said, "Oh, really?" I'm not in what he's talking about. He said, "Yeah, I think you guys could write some great songs together." He used to play with Bob Seger. And I said, "Bob Seger, are you kidding me?" "Yeah, we probably could." And he said, "He's a great singer, and you guys need to meet and need to write." So Blue and I got together, and I met him, and first night we got together, over a bottle of wine, maybe more than one bottle of wine, we wrote a song that ended up being on our first album, because Doug heard that and he said, "You got to write some more songs. I love this song." And so we did, and he said, "Put a band together." And then about that time, he was asked to be head of A&R at Epic.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all just unbelievable timing. That it's just, how did this happen?
Sure. What was that song y'all wrote together?
It was called I love it. No, darn it, what was it?
Come on, Frank, help him out.
Yeah, he can't remember anything. He's getting old.
Thanks a lot, Frank.
Well, we'll come up with it here in a second.
Yeah, I'll think of it.
But let's go ahead and for our audience who are watching us right now on Facebook, TNN or CMT back in the 1990s, you had a chance to catch that one, and it was oh so good. Texas Tattoo. Now, I will, as we're talking about Gibson Miller Band here for a moment, you also, from my very astute kind of watch of what goes on with country music acts, you're the only act I've ever heard of that had a slash in your name.
Oh.
It's Gibson / Miller, not Gibson - Miller or Gibson / Miller.
Yeah.
So who gets the credit on that punctuation?
Well, we were trying to come up with a name for the band. We tried a lot of different things, but the label says, "Look, we're not going to worry about trying to find a name. Let's just call it Gibson Miller Band." And we said, okay. And the band was cool with that. Because Blue and I were the ones that started it, so we ended up with that. And as far as the slash is concerned, I'm not sure who came up with that. Yeah.
Again, there's been a lot of musical acts through history, and you may be the only act that ever had a slash. A good old.
Well,
slash.
Rollo, I forget Rollo's last name, but he was the art director, the guy that worked on most of our stuff, and he was awesome. I loved him. And he could have come up with that himself,
Well, you try to stand out, which you're doing right now, Frank, and we'll learn more in a second about that. But Gibson Miller Band, like so many acts, you were caught in the middle of people selling 10 million albums and such, so a lot of people may not have been able to hear you as much as you should have been heard. You had fantastic records, including Red, White, and Blue Collar.
Oh,
that was a good song there from that second album. But unfortunately, as most bands do, y'all kind of went away. You kept doing the songwriting thing.
Yeah. I left the band in '94. I just some personal reasons, stuff like that. I mean, I just love the fact that we made two great albums. Where There's Smoke probably is my favorite album. I guess it was just our freshman album, and we've been on the road for a year, but But the second album has still got some great songs on it I love. But we won that ACM award.
Yeah, let's not leave that out. ACM Duo Vocal Group of the Year winner.
Yeah.
Around that time period.
93. We were so surprised that we won because we were up against Black Hawk and Boy Howdy Band, and both of them have had #1 songs. So we just thought, well, we're just out here having fun. One of them's gonna win, and we're sitting there like in the third row, and right behind us is Merle Haggard and Buck Owens, and two of my biggest heroes. And so when Chris Ledoux called our name, Gibson Miller Band, and we're like statues. We couldn't move. And they tapped us on the shoulder and said, "Boys, I think you ought to get up there. You won an award."
That would be a good thing. And again, you ended up going away from the band, doing the songwriting thing. And here, recently, you've gone into a whole nother realm that, frankly, I've not heard of any country music act or any music act doing what you're doing right now.
Frankly, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, with TWB, with Frank T.L. Frog leading the way.
That's right.
The Waterhole Bunch.
Well, do you want to know how come this whole thing started?
I'm going to guess several bottles of wine, just like when you got together with Blue the first time.
Well, I met Dave on the deck of an office he had over here on Music Row, and he was out there and he couldn't think of anything to write. He was smoking a cigar and drinking some coffee or something that was in it, I don't know. Or he might have been smoking something else, I don't know. But anyway, he didn't have an idea, and I did. And I said, "You want to write it with me?"
And I'll be, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Yeah, Frank."
Oh, okay. I like the way y'all communicate.
Yeah. And anyway, I wrote most of the songs. So.
Did you?
Yeah, he was on the deck.
Is that right?
I was starting to sound like Frank.
Yeah, he was just on the deck. But anyway, we had a good time writing it, and it's called The Frog Song, and it went #1 for 5 weeks in a row in the UK.
All right. Well, what's happening now and debuting next week is Frank and your castmates are taking this to the whole world with your own television series.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're going to play some video from the Waterhole Bunch right now, as that will debut on Roku. There's Frank right there. Are you the lead singer, lead guitarist? What are you?
Oh, I'm just a lead guy.
Okay.
You know, if it wasn't for me, this wouldn't have happened.
Okay. Please don't hold back, you know.
And by the way, if you look at Dave's shirt, it says Frank T.L. Frog for president.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see
I'm
that
on
now.
the Green Party. Get it?
Yeah, yes, I
That's
actually
right.
do get
We need
it.
a frog in the White House.
Yes, yeah.
Green in the White House.
Yes, I see that. But yeah, so you've got this new series that is going to be debuting on Roku. I've seen some stuff on YouTube as well. And what are we going to find when we tune in the Waterhole Bunch there? Either one of you can answer this one.
Well, it's like musical mayhem. We're having so much fun with how this all happened is because of the Frog Song that Frank and I wrote, and there's 3 main characters in the song. There's Frank's girlfriend.
Yeah, my girlfriend. It turned out to be my wife.
That's Sally Mander.
Oh,
yeah, get
Sally.
Sally Mander.
And then there's Frank, of course, Frank. And then there's the fly in the ointment, which is the horny toad.
Yeah, the horny
Oh.
toad. Yeah, he stole my Sally Mander from me.
So, see, it's like it's a triangle, love triangle that went wrong for Frank. So
Yeah, a little wrong.
This is a soap opera for kids. It
It
sounds
is, it is. But all of our friends at the Waterhole, there's Billy Joe Bob Gnarly. He's a reggae redneck.
Huh.
Yeah, Billy Joe, and I fix that.
But first, hold on. Before we do anything, Frank T.L. Frog, we appreciate you being very aware of what's going on in the world right now and wearing a mask here to this interview.
Well, you know, there hasn't been any cases of frogs contracting that COVID-19 stuff, but I ain't taking no chances.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, and I do drink Corona Light.
Oh
Minus the virus.
yeah, I don't blame you there, but yeah, and that's a pretty guitar there you got there. What kind is it?
Oh, thanks a lot. I'm not sure what it is, but it sure sounds good.
Well, I was doing some research before you came in here, Frank, and I think I saw that one of your sponsors is a guitar manufacturer.
Well, you know, that's probably what it is. I think it is a boy's air guitar.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of them folding guitars.
Yeah, I've never seen such a thing. You can fold a guitar up and take it with you on the.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Of course, I wear this all the time. So.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, that's a good plug there that you got in there. So you're learning about show business there, Frank TL.
Yeah, and, well, there's there's other people in the Waterhole that they're just all crazy, you know. There's Guillermo Luis Rodriguez.
Oh, who was that?
He's a catfish.
Oh,
Yeah, and he came up from the Rio Grande Valley, and and then there's this I can't think of her name. Lily Petterini. She is a singing waitress from New Jersey, and she is the voice of her is Dave's partner, Cheryl Davega. Yeah, she's our partner, and she lives up in New Jersey. She hadn't been down for a while called this COVID stuff, but she and Dave and me, we started this whole thing, and Dave's sister made me and all the other puppets. He and her made all the puppets. Annette Witt, she lives down in Huntsville. No, in Athens.
Athens, Alabama?
Right outside Athens.
All right.
Yeah, she's a great seamstress and sweetheart too.
Oh.
And then then there's who else is there? That the reggae redneck guy, Billy Joe, and then there's there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a bunch. It's a whole cast. It's the Waterhole.
Anyway.
That's why you call them bunch. There's a
That's
bunch of you, and I assume there's room to grow.
Oh, absolutely, room to grow, and you don't have anything but fun when you come there. You got to get puppet size, so to sing on the stage with us. You can come around the back door as a big person, but you got to get puppet sized.
I see.
To sing on.
Now, either one of you can answer this question. How do people watch you again? I said it was on Roku. Some of our people watching may not know exactly what that is. So what's the easiest way to watch this?
Well, Roku.
Oh, yeah, Dave's back with us.
Hello. Roku TV is on a lot of the smart TVs. Most of them, I guess, and then you can buy a little Fire Stick or whatever. But there's a Spider TV on there. There's all kinds of different outlets for our show. So it's kind of the Cartoon Network they have on there, and then it's just really cool. We're very excited to be on that channel.
Is there a cost?
No, I mean if you have it, it's free on the if you have it on your smart TV. But I think it's if you buy the little stick, I think it's $30 or something.
But if you have Roku, is there a cost to watch
No.
the Waterhole Bunch?
No. We right now we're just putting it out there to get people to watch it, and one day, you know, we'll actually have we'll make some money at this.
Yeah.
But well, right now it's just about getting it out there, and you know, we've had so much fun doing this, and we've been like working on it for almost 3 years. So, and then my son and I built the whole puppet set. It's like old school puppet set for the Waterhole bar, and well, anyway, we just been having a ball.
Sounds like it. We're delighted for you and Mr. Frank T.L. Frog.
Thanks a lot, Don.
Frogg, by the way, and
that's
he's running for
GG.
president.
That's right. Yeah, on the Green Party.
Right there on his T-shirt, it
Yeah.
shows it. So
Yeah.
we wish you all the best there.
Thanks.
And again, this will be on Roku as of next week. You can tune in and see it there. And if you don't have Roku or you want to learn a little bit more about it, you can go to YouTube and search for it. You also have a website.
Right. The Waterholebunch.com.
Okay.
We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have all that stuff.
Yeah, we got all them social media outlets. Yeah. For all you.
And this, again, coming from the creative genius of Dave Gibson, which, by the way, I failed to give a proper shout out to arguably your most successful song ever. And sadly, we lost Joe Diffie this year, but you wrote Ships That Don't Come In.
Yeah, I had to do. I was really just like devastated when Joe passed. I did a little thing on Facebook as a for him, as a tribute to him, and he was just such an amazing person, and one of the most amazing singers that ever came into Nashville. And what he did for me, and I think it really, he always told me that was his favorite song, you know, and he always ended his show with Ships That Don't Come In. and I'm just so proud that he did that song. And in the beginning, and he always said it. Bob Montgomery was one of his producers, and Bob found the song, and he said, "Man, I think this would be great for you." And Joe said, "Well, I don't know, man. It's pretty heavy." So he said, "Well, just go in there and sing it one time, and if you don't want to do it, we won't." But Joe did, and thank God he loved it, and it's just been the watermark of my career as far as songwriting is concerned. So.
And it was a heavy song.
Yeah, very, very much so, and I'm so proud that it's been played at so many veterans memorial services, and people, just other songwriters tell me that song. John Barry told me that was the song that caused him to move to town. He heard it on the radio, and he pulled over. He says, "That's it. I got to go."
The power of great songs. And Dave Gibson, my goodness, you've written so many songs this week. We kind of forget about some of them. But I didn't want to forget about Ships That Don't Come In. Also, of course, Joe Diffie passed away earlier this year because of the coronavirus. And so as we have had this enduring pandemic go on, we need something to kind of bring our spirits up. And guess what? The Waterhole Bunch can do just that. So tune in next week. Frank, thank you so much for coming on.
You're very welcome, John, and I want you to be safe, too.
I will be safe. We want all y'all to be safe.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
Dave, thank you for coming. Thank you for getting him here for the interview today.
Well, it wasn't easy, believe me. Trying to get him out of the house is really tough.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we have absolutely enjoyed your visit with us, both of you, and don't forget to tune in the Waterhole Bunch. We'll have more of the Y'all Show coming back up. Tell everybody bye.
Hey, John.
Hey, y'all.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, y'all. I just want to say one thing. That Dave has a single coming out on a new artist.
Oh.
And he's really, really good. He's on Black River. And it's a song that he wrote with Doug Johnson and Nick's Arms 2 years ago. And if I'd have been in the room, I'd have been a third or fourth on that song. I know that.
That's going to be a big hit, so that could have paid for a few lily pads.
Well, it certainly could have. And got me out of trouble with Sally Mander.
What's that song called?
It's called A World Gone Mad. And it's unbelievable because 2 years ago, it wasn't a world gone mad, but it was just some things that were happening, but not like this. So y'all stay tuned. It's coming out the 17th of September on Black River. And I just wanted to mention that because Dave he forgot to tell you.
That's what we call a good plug. So thank you for that nice plug.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're learning. He's got his own show, so I mean, he ought to know. He knows this stuff. What are we talking about? Dave and Frank, thank y'all very much. We'll have more of the Y'all Show coming up right after this.
See y'all.